Maybe I could get mine to make one.
So if all goes well, they come tomorrow, Friday, maybe
Hello, everyone. I'm going to give it about one more minute. There's still people coming in. Thank you for your patience.
Hey, Quentin, Brian, and Sherry, thank you for doing this. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you, Victor. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Victor.
Oh, our pleasure. That's what we are here for.
All right, everyone. It is now 6:38. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good evening. For those who may not know me, my name is Quentin Pugh, and I am the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of South Miami. I would like to thank you all for attending this virtual meeting and for being a part of the planning process for Paseo Park. I also would like to recognize some of our leaders who are present. I believe I saw Commissioner Brian Corey, Commissioner Lewis Gill, as well as our city manager, Ms. Sherry Kamali. Also joining me this evening is Mr. Armando Aguiar from Marlin Engineering. Here's a quick overview of the agenda for this evening. I will cover details about the property as is and review the results from the online community input survey that was conducted a couple of months ago in January. I will present the first proposed schematic plan for Paseo Park. I will briefly talk about the project budget and tentative timeline. Then I will stop talking for a bit and open the floor for discussion and comments. The proposed park name, Paseo, is a Spanish noun used to describe a leisurely walk or stroll, which is fitting as this site is partly being used in a similar manner. The Pocket Park is located on Southwest 63rd Avenue and 50th Street. It is in between two single-family homes on the south and north end. Property owners who reside on 50th Street to the west of the proposed park have a direct connection to the site. From my experience and in discussions with area neighbors, the site has been used for activities such as walking and running, dog runs, nannies caring for young children, and small children playing. The location was brought to staff attention by Commissioner Corey. I also believe he proposed the park name, so kudos to Commissioner Brian Corey. Thank you. The site is shy of a quarter acre, approximately 208 feet in length by 50 feet wide. There are roughly 32 trees on the site. There's open green space and an accessible sidewalk on the north perimeter. Brewer Park is a 9-minute walk to the south and South Miami Park is an 18-minute walk to the north of Paseo Park. Ideally, the city's Parks and Rec Department believes everyone should be within a 5-minute walking distance from a park. A 5-minute walking distance is usually about a quarter mile. Hopefully everyone can see my cursor or my mouse. But this green area here represents Brewer Park. This purple bubble is basically a quarter mile or a 5-minute walking distance to and from Brewer Park to these area residents here. If we go further north, this is South Miami Park. Again, this purple bubble area is a quarter mile or represents a 5-minute walking distance to the residents who reside near South Miami Park. This area here is within the city limits. Paseo Park is located here. As you can clearly see, there is no park coverage in this area here. Therefore, the development of Paseo Park will be a pocket park in this area that is arguably in most need of a park. I want to talk a little bit about the community input survey. There was an online community input survey available a couple of months ago from January 12th through the 24th. My team targeted approximately 60 homes surrounding the proposed pocket park. Announcements were made during city commission meetings. We posted door hangers on the property doors and signage at the park site. Many of you may recognize some of the marketing material you see here. 97 members completed the survey. 78% of surveyed members reported to be South Miami residents. Question number 1 in the survey asked, please select your top 3 features for this park. The top 3 elements identified were open green space for leisure activities at 66%. That's this area here. Native tree planting and landscaping came up next at 58%, which is here. And an independent play structure came in at 51%, which is represented here. Question number 2 asks, what other features, excluding those above in question 1, would you like to see? Common responses were none, a trail, a path, walking and biking pathways, landscaping, lights for walking through at nighttime for safety and security purposes, benches and picnic tables, green space, play equipment, and a water fountain. Question number 3 asks, if any, what are the ages of children in your household? 42% of respondents reported they have children 0 to 5 years old. And 30% reported they have children 6 to 10 years old. In total, 72% of respondents reported that they have children 10 years old or younger. Question number 4 asks whether you are a resident of the city of South Miami. 78% said yes. The remaining 22% said no. I am purposely skipping question number 5 and number 6 as they ask which street do you live on and which day was most convenient for you to attend a virtual community meeting. Question number 7 asks, would you like to provide any additional comments about the proposed park? Common responses were no, thank you. The park doesn't need much more than greenery, native landscaping, a library box, picnic tables, etc. I'm happy to know the city is addressing the beautification of this site. Keep it simple, a dog park, car barriers, I'm assuming on the west and east end for car barriers, security cameras and more car patrol. And last but not least, I am not in favor of a park. The next slide is the first proposed schematic plan for Paseo Park. I will keep it posted for a few seconds, then get into details on subsequent slides. Some of the key features for this site include 89% of the park will remain as open green space after improvements. That is mainly the west and the east end will remain as open green space. That represents 89% of this property. Flag repairs to the existing sidewalk on the north boundary. There's approximately 5 or 6 flags, sidewalk flags that are in need of repair. Either they're cracked, they're not leveled, encroaching on the existing tree that is there. The tree roots have damaged it. Nevertheless, we plan to make repairs to the existing sidewalk on the north boundary. Standard park features include a park identification sign, which will be on the east end here. Trash receptacles, here's one here. Picnic tables and benches, park benches. A swing play structure with rubber safety surfacing right here in the center of the property. Safety and security LED lighting, which will be provided by FP&L. There will be one on the northwest end and another on the northeast end to eliminate the existing sidewalk for security and safety purposes in the evening for those who wish to walk through this site. Multiple tree species and shrubs on the south boundary on this end, and a mini library post, which is here. This page represents an enlarged version of some of the elements that I just covered. What we have here is our standard picnic bench that we are proposing. Here's the LED lamps that will be provided by FP&L. Now the LED lamp selected is a common low-level residential lamp. It has a color temperature of 3000 and a lumen output of 3500. Again, this is a common lamp that is used throughout residential areas. This is not your standard light that you would use, obviously, to light up a ball field, but just enough to provide a little bit of security and safety, comfortability for the site, especially when you're walking through on the sidewalk, the north sidewalk. This is our standard identification signage. Here's the proposed swing structure, which features a bucket seat for toddlers, a belt seat for older children, and a shell seat, which can accommodate multiple children at once. And is actually a modern update to a traditional swing. Our standard picnic tables, looking to bring in a few field-grown trees in the area. This is a picture of a live oak field-grown tree. Here's the mini library post that we're proposing for the exchanges of books at the site. Clusia shrubs for the south boundary, and our general or standard park receptacle. I'm sorry, trash can receptacle, excuse me. The project budget for this property is $75,000. We have already spent $14,350 for topography and as-built surveys, as well as on contract architecture and engineering documents for bidding purposes. This leaves us a total capital budget available of $60,650. Tentative project timeline includes a second community meeting, which will be held sometime in either late April or early May. Project solicitation for bids will be held from June through August. Commission review and vote will take place in September, and construction is tentatively scheduled between October and December, with a hopeful completion by the end of the year. The proposed design is available now on the city's website at this address here, and it will be available for review and input through Friday, April 8th, 2022. After this meeting, there will be an email that you will receive either later this evening or first thing tomorrow morning with this information. On this site, it includes the survey, which was emailed out to you all a few weeks ago, or I think it was sometime in February, but it also will contain the site, the schematic plans for this project. So if there's anything that you failed to mention tonight, there's still opportunity for you to email us and let us know your comments should you forget to say anything tonight. Again, that will be available, review and input through Friday, April 8th. So you all will receive an email after this meeting or first thing tomorrow morning. This concludes my presentation. I want to thank you all for indulging me. I'm going to stop talking for a minute and stop sharing my screen. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, kindly raise your virtual hand and I will call upon you. Thank you. Let's see. Hold on here, guys. All right. I tell you what, I am not a Zoom expert. So if you do have something to say, just unmute yourself and please share.
How many people, thank you for doing this, like others said, and thank you for the transparency. How many people said don't do anything? I live on 50th, so I'm on the street that leads to, that dead ends into this area. And this is not a good idea to have anything here. This is a very small area. It is in between homes. There is no way you can have people parking here. The residents of this street are not interested in this. This is our street.
Understood.
How many people said no, don't do anything? Because you didn't give people those options on the surveys.
Right. Let me do this for you, Charles. Hold on. So question number 2 is a question. I think this is the most related question to your question, Charles. So what other features excluding those above would you like to see included? As I stroll down this list here, I recall maybe a couple of responses that stated, let's not do this, or we do not want to see a park. I'm looking now.
That question is geared for, hey, what else would you like? There was never an option to say nothing.
Right,
But
but
you didn't have it in your choices. So it's sort of an unfair review of the
understood.
sentiment.
There is question number 7. What would you like to provide any additional comments you may have regarding this part? This is where I thought I saw it.
Okay.
Don't overdo it. Keep it natural. Thank you for doing this. No, no, no. Thank you. No, no, no. My concern is that people will be parking on 50th Street, making the street crowded. Maybe that's one there. Let's see. I'm still looking here. Keep it simple and green. No, please don't make it blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Here it is. Here's another one. So that's 2 out of 97. I'm not in favor of a park. That's 2.
Yeah, I guess. But you're talking about people who don't live on the street. We live on this street. This is our street. If we have people, how would you like having people park in your yard to go to a park? There is no parking. This is not a place for a park. As you outlined, there's a park. Brewer Park is less than a half a mile away. South Miami Park is a mile away. And those are both very large, great places. There's plenty of options right here.
Right. I would agree.
Big options.
Understood. I would agree that South Miami Park and Brewer Park are definitely great places to be. I will say about this particular site, the usage that it is receiving right now, I do not see it going beyond where it is now, especially since we're only incorporating a swing. Now, I understand if we were adding a bunch of other elements such as playground structures and other active recreational activities or features, that's not being proposed at this site. The information to the survey was given to the folks who stayed on 50th Street. That's in the immediate vicinity of this location. And all I can tell you is for question number 7, out of 97 respondents, there's only 2 mentionings of not to do it. I'm not saying
there's 7 houses on this street. That's it. It's a very small street, and a swing is a playground. I mean, it's a structure.
A swing. You're absolutely correct. It is a play structure. It's an independent play structure that where little children. I mean, the most that you may get is that you may hear laughter by little children. You're talking about no more.
We're worried about people parking in our yards, and we're worried about older kids coming and drinking beer, smoking pot which we've had already. We don't need a structure. We don't need an invitation. We don't need a sign. We don't need people coming on a dead end to sit here.
I hear your sentiment, and I get your reservations about it. Anyone smoking pot, I would assume if that's happening already, definitely contact local authorities. As far as the other activity, I just don't see what you're saying happening in that drastic view for this particular site. But I respect your opinion. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm in an elevator right now.
I can, Carly. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Carl. Hello.
Oh, okay, perfect. I actually really like the design of the park. I live on 63rd and I walk through the park daily. But I think for me, the only concern that I have is about the tree removal. Right now, the trees that are there provide a lot of great shade for anyone that does go into the park to stand around. And so I would just want to make sure that whatever trees are removed and added provides the same, if not more, shade to the area.
Thank you, Carly. Very good questions. As of now, like I stated earlier, there's 32 trees located on the site. If that swing structure is placed in the center of the park, there are 7 trees that are in conflict and that will need to be removed. I can tell you that we do have plans to bring in native tree species at that site. However, it won't be at the maturity level. And what I mean by maturity level, the height, the shade canopy, it won't be at that level. We're talking about field grown 16-foot height trees, whereas what's there now are very mature, mainly non-native or invasive species that will be in conflict with the existing swing. So ideally, we're not going to take away all the canopy, but there are 7 species in direct conflict of the play equipment being proposed to come in.
Okay, I mean, in that case, originally when I heard about this, I was like, okay, a play equipment thing might be nice, but I would, now hearing about it, I would prefer canopy. So I would now say I would change my original comments about the play structure because I think the tree canopy is really important.
Understood. Thank you so much, Carly. Is there another speaker who would like to say something?
I just wanted to state, this is a Brian Corey. I wanted to thank the city. Sorry, I'm walking my daughter if you hear her. I just wanted to thank the city for all the hard work they've put into this and the residents for all of their feedback. And I've heard so many who walk around the area that they're excited to see what comes about, and to keep them updated on what happened during this meeting. And we look forward to everybody's feedback to activate within a quarter mile of so many.
Beautiful. Thank you, Commissioner Corey. I appreciate it.
Can you hear me?
Peter, yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. I also live on the street, on 50th Street, so I'm sort of one of the 11 people. Hey, Victor. I see Victor every day when I'm walking. That's why, and Mari. Anyhow, I have some of the same concerns that Charles raised, plus an additional concern. One concern is that one of the things I see happening at the park regularly is little older kids, and my kids are, late 20s, so they're not kids anymore. But I think these kids are on the order of high school kids or middle school, high school. They're all bigger than I think they should be at these ages now. Anyhow, they play soccer there. Not a game, but they practice and hit the ball around and stuff. And it would appear to me that you would optimize it for that purpose if you didn't go with the simple symmetry that you have in that park now, which I know is an attractive thing. And people plop things down and then they distribute them symmetrically, which is all that design really is: 2 symmetrical picnic tables, 2 symmetrical benches, a thing plopped in the middle. If you put it at that structure at an end rather than in the middle, then in fact you would still be able to have kids have this use a wider grassy area, because the larger the open area in that center is, even if there's trees around and they kick around them, they're obstacles or something. But the bottom line is, the bigger the grassy area, the less it's blocked up by that. So I think that would be a substantial design improvement to go asymmetrical and move that off center. I also share the concern about parking on our streets. But one way that you could, and the kinds of uses that Charles talked about, but one way that you could help with that a lot is by not providing amenities like picnic tables. The truth is, if the real use is the kinds of things that happen now, little kids come over to play in the space, they could use a swing set, whatever, then I can see that the person accompanying the little kids might want to sit in a bench. I certainly would if I had a little kid, or in my age, more like a grandkid to deal with. But I don't need a picnic bench. A picnic bench is in the direction of encouraging just the sort of socializations that Charles is concerned about, which is a disruption in a very small neighborhood. So I think substantial improvements would be what we heard about, the more trees and bigger trees, and leaving as many of the big trees as possible, moving the picnic area, moving the play area to a corner of an end, sort of, not in the middle. In other words, providing a greater open space, and completely removing picnic tables, simply having a couple of benches right near that play area, literally next to the play area, because the use of those benches, you want it to be for the grown-ups supervising the little kids. That's what they're for. And I think you'd have a lot less objection from people on our street who wouldn't see the use of the park changing as much if that was what was being proposed.
Peter, thank you for sharing your comments. I will address the what I would think is the easiest portion of your concern, or the picnic tables. I do think that's something we can look at internally, and whether they stay or be removed, definitely for the next meeting. In between that is something that we will look at, because I understand where you're coming from with the picnic tables, as well as where Charles may have some concerns. So that's something in the interim between this meeting and the next meeting, we will look at internally and make a decision on. As far as the playground, let me just give you some of the thought process that went into putting the playground in the center. If we were to relocate this playground more towards the west end, we want to be respectful of the neighbors who live on the north and the south end. Both of them do have large gates that access their properties. So I really wouldn't want to be in conflict with those gates when, should they need to bring out their debris from their backyard and put it along the right of way. We just didn't want to block that area if we move this swing structure to the west. If we were to move this swing structure to the east, I want to be respectful of this north resident. When he or she comes out their home, I don't know if they necessarily want to see a swing area right outside their front door. Furthermore, it is right here on the street, on this intersection, 50th Street and 63rd Avenue. I would then need to probably think about putting some sort of fence system, even if it's low level, 4 feet in height, just to protect the little ones from, running into that street area and things of that nature. So we thought that the middle area was a nice space for laughter and to kind of keep the noise area centralized, as opposed to putting it on just the west side or the east side. So those were some of the kind of the thought process that went into it. Not to say that this is where it will remain, but at this time, we thought that was the best area for those reasons, but definitely something we can look into for the next meeting. Peter, if I missed anything else that you said, please let me know. If not, is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Quentin, can I offer a comment? This is Victor Dover.
Absolutely, Victor, please.
Glad you're here with me. Well, and hi to all my neighbors. I walk that space virtually every day that I'm home and here in town. And I know Peter because he lives up there and walks down my street and I live down here on near Brewer Park and walk down his street. But so we actually, these public spaces are where we get to know our neighbors, which is kind of a nice thing. We actually, this might be helpful. I trust the city staff, especially you, Quentin, to make good decisions about all the little components, whether this tree or that tree is right, and whether, where exactly whether the table or the swing should be included. So I'm glad that's in your good hands. But I just want to make a couple quick points. The Brewer Park is on the street where we live. We live on 57th Street. And of course, it's a much bigger park. It's very popular. It has a couple parking spaces and people improvise, but they come here in great numbers. A lot of people come to Brewer Park on foot, and our street, because it's narrow and shady, is a popular walking space. So we see a lot of folks that don't live on our street, and we love it. It's a great thing. We say hello to our neighbors. They say hi to us. They stop and grab a sidewalk chalk that Marty leaves in a little bowl on the garden wall, and they leave her a love note, usually on our sidewalk. And they bring their kids up and down the street. So actually being near the park and being near a place where other people that don't necessarily live on our street come has actually, for the 30 years we've been here, been a wonderful thing. That sounds counterintuitive. Strangers and people you don't know yet, or somebody you didn't know coming walking down your street. Who are those people? Actually, it has been great. The last point I'll make is that Paseo, which means passage, it refers to a type of street that's pedestrian only, and that's what we have here, is a piece of unexercised street thoroughfare right of way that in the original drawings was meant to be a connection, between, say, Charles's house and Peter's house, and would have been in the past just another piece of conventional street with a big strip of asphalt going down the middle of it and a lot of cars going back and forth. And somehow, through whatever group of decisions or accidents, it didn't turn into that. It turned into a pedestrian only passage instead. I think it's actually a little bit confusing to people to call it a park because it's so small. It's a linear park, sure, but what it really is just a dressing up and a making more public of a special kind of public space, which is a paseo. I'm super excited about it. I don't live right next to it, but I bet you a lot of people who do walk down my street to go to Brewer Park, and they're welcome to do so. I would I'd encourage you to listen carefully to all the neighbors' concerns, address them as best you can, but keep moving on this great idea. You want to add anything?
Well, I would just, like Victor said, we walk down the park every day just with our daily walk. And in the mornings, it's really cool. There's a little group of nannies who take their kids and they all play in the grass and they love it. So what I want to, just a design suggestion, instead of the two benches being far away from each other, I would have you consider putting the two benches at 90 degrees about the play, where the kids would swing. That way, it would encourage interaction between people being at the park. So the nannies can sort of, like, if they were at 90 degrees, they could have a conversation. So that's just one observation. But thanks for doing this. I think it's a great idea.
Victor, thank you so much for your comments. Truly appreciate it. Marty, definitely I can certainly look into the setting of those benches to make it more social and interactive. So thank you. That's something we'll certainly look at in the interim before the next meeting. Thank you, Marty.
I did think of something else I want to say about Brewer Park, Quentin, and that is thank you for the great many improvements that have been made and several rounds of improvements to Brewer Park over the years under your leadership. It has always been a great park. It's nicer now than it's ever been, and it's all because of your department.
And people use it all the time, which is a happy thing.
Thank you, Sherry, for backing that work too.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Victor. Thank you so much to the both of you all. If there's any other speakers, please don't hesitate. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let me have it.
Hey, Quentin, I'll take you up on your invite. I'll unmute myself. My name is Jason King. I live at 63rd Court. I'm right around the corner from the All-American Park. And, if they don't want the swing at Paseo Park, we'll take it at All-American. We just did a play group just 20 minutes ago. And just like you said, I like the idea of a swing and the laughter of children, right? I just to research this for this meeting, I walked past Paseo Park today. I do often, and I saw people in it. People were sitting on the ground with blankets, and so the people are already there. And it just feels like what you're recommending would provide for people like me a spot to sit in the shade during our walks, and maybe a new spot for our play group with the 3 or 4 kids that come. So I just applaud this effort, and I'm very excited about it. Thank you, Quentin.
Hey, thank you, Jason. I appreciate your comments as well. In regards to the swing at All America Park, we may need to have a separate community meeting
Right.
regarding All America Park and that swing. But I love the idea, and I appreciate your comments about Paseo Park. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, last call. Please unmute yourself. If you have something to say, I would love to hear it. Don't be shy. Then again, if nothing comes to you at this moment, we do have until August the 8th on Friday. If you think of something, to let us know. But please share your comments now if you can. Feel free to unmute.
Very quickly, I just would like to thank everybody who joined us tonight, and thank you so much for your comments. And thank you, Mr. Quentin, for doing a great job.
I appreciate it, Ms. Kamali. Thank you.
I have one concern, and I'm going to sort of go where Peter sort of said. As far as the picnic table, I don't see the necessity for a picnic table, only because I've lived here 40 something years, and it's a great little area. But if you have a picnic table, I'm just afraid some idiot, and God knows there's a lot of idiots, that will bring a portable, I know this sounds stupid, but will bring a portable barbecue and start barbecuing. I mean, I've seen stupid things done. And then what? I mean, it's not like it's being policed, because it doesn't have to be, but you're going to have somebody, and I know it may be absurd, but and with all the cars going by down on 63rd, it's a little small street. It's not a very wide street, and that's concerning for having. I think it's great to have the little kids there, but I think benches would be better than a picnic table. I just see. I mean, I have seen in this neighborhood where things have gotten out of hand, even with neighbors and whatever, and I don't know. I may think people are just, but I just see something bad when you have a picnic table. You're inviting somebody to either have their lunch there and leave it and not throw the stuff away. And then animals will come, because we have raccoons all around. We have possums, and we don't need any more of those. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. But I think having benches would be a lot better.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Similar to what I stated to Peter a few minutes ago, definitely something we will look at internally, and we'll bring forth. I guess if it does change, we'll bring something forward, and we'll speak on it at the next meeting. But again, thank you for your comments. I appreciate that. Well. All right. Still got a few more minutes here. If there's any other comments, please let me have it. I want to hear it. Feel free to unmute yourself, share your comments or concerns, good or positive. I'm here for it all. All right. I want to thank everyone for attending the first virtual community meeting. As I stated earlier during my presentation, there will be an email that either goes out later this evening or tomorrow morning with the website where you can access the not just the community input survey, but also the first draft of the schematic plan for the site. If you have any further comments, concerns, questions, or anything like of that nature regarding this particular park, please email parks, PARKS, at South Miami, FL as in Florida, .gov. Again, that is parks at South Miami, FL.gov. I want to thank you all for your time this evening. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. Again, thank you to everyone who participated tonight. I do value and appreciate your comments. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Quentin.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.